Hi, you guys. So, for all of you, I'm recording this call too. So, if you want a copy of it later, or you want to send it to someone, I will be saving it and I will upload it somewhere. So, if any of you want a copy, I'll be more than happy to provide you with a copy after our call. But for those of you that are new on the call and do not know me, my name is AsiaG Ranada, and I've been here a part of Herbalife for about 2 years now. I'm a new distributor though, but I've been a part of the community for 2 years and absolutely love it. Today I decided to formally meet Renata and call because she has an interesting story that I think is very important to talk about, and I wanted her to share her experience about her fitness journey and her health journey and some of the challenges that she's been through. I think it's so important to allow others to share their space because I may not be able to relate to every story of my client, and so I think it's important that we bring in other people who has that and that can share that opportunity. So Renata, could you introduce yourself, where you're from, what you're about, and how you got started on your fitness journey?
Absolutely. Can I just first start off by saying thank you so much for reaching out to me, and for all the clients that are on here. I just want you guys to know that you have an amazing coach, and the fact that she loves you guys so much to the point where she would research and reach out to whoever she can to get as much information to you guys as possible says a whole lot. So you guys have somebody backing you up and in your corner. That is amazing. So I just want to acknowledge you for a second and just say thank you for reaching out to me, and I'm completely honored that you chose me. So
thank you for
just a little bit about myself. Yes, girl, no problem at all. But just a little bit about me. I'm Renata. I've been a part of Herbalife now. Okay, so honestly, I've been a part of Herbalife for about 11-ish years. I was just a product user. It really didn't mean too much to me as far as the business. I had no really idea way back when I first tried the products. I was really just trying to prove to a guy that I could lose 50 pounds because he made a really mean bet to me that if I lose weight, he'd date me. So that's literally history. And so I literally lost 50 pounds in the first 2 months of ever using Herbalife about 11 years ago. So that was then. Fast forward to about 2 years ago, I decided to take my health really seriously because 3 years ago, you guys, I had weight loss surgery. I got the sleeve. That's a bariatric surgery. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that one. But there's also the what is called the Roux-en-Y, and that's where they reroute your intestines and all of that. But it's a bypass. That's where you hear people say, "I got bypass surgery." That's called the Roux-en-Y. It's a different bariatric surgery than the one I got. The one I have is called a sleeve. So that I decided to get that 3 years ago because I had gotten to my heaviest, which was over 350 pounds. I don't have an exact number of how much I weighed because I stepped on a scale that only went to 350 pounds and it said error. And it terrified me. It embarrassed me. I felt completely just ashamed to even go find out exactly how much I weighed at that time. I just recognized that that wasn't a place that I wanted to be in anymore. So I say over 350 pounds because I don't really know how big I really was. So anyway, I went through a bunch of emotional things. Actually, a number of things occurred after that was more reassuring that I needed to do something. But the one event that happened that was literally like the camel that broke, or what do you call it? The straw that broke the camel's back for me was I went on a trip to Walt Disney World. Anybody that knows me knows that I love Mickey Mouse. So I'm such a Mickey Mouse fan, Disney fan, but mostly Mickey Mouse. And so, yeah. And so this was like everything to me to be able to go on this trip, right? I planned like it was an 11-day trip. I'm like, I'm about to go have fun and rock out with Mickey, right? So the first embarrassing moment I get on the airplane, you guys, and I'm gonna be completely honest and authentic as I can on this call, and
please do.
Feel free to ask me whatever you want, okay? And I'm so open. I'm dead serious. The stuff that you probably think that you don't want to talk about, ask me because I will talk to you about it. So, okay. So anyway, I get on the plane and the lady, the stewardess literally yells very loudly, "Do you need a seatbelt extension?" And I was just like, ma'am, like, why would you say that so loudly? Like, I was so embarrassed, so that was like damper number one on this amazing trip that I was taking. So I get to, and it didn't feel good. So I get to Walt Disney World, the first day having a great time, you guys, but by the end of the day, my feet were so swollen that I couldn't even put my shoes on. It was terrible. And the next morning, I could barely walk. Like, it was so difficult for me to even stand up. So the remainder of the trip, I had to be pushed in a wheelchair. At 30 years old, being pushed around in a wheelchair by someone who I was supposed to be sharing this magical vacation with, I ruined, to me, I ruined their trip as well. So I'm trying not to get too emotional because every time I tell this story, like, you guys got to understand, I relive it. So, and it was so painful to me to have to watch, my partner push me around in a wheelchair and sacrifice their fun, and the enjoyment and the picture that we have in our minds of having, this certain type of experience is ruined by something that I could actually control. This is everything that I was thinking about, being pushed around at Disney World in a wheelchair. I couldn't even enjoy myself anymore because I was thinking about the other person and ruining their experience. And then also realizing that I'm in a place that I love to be in and want to have this awesome experience, and I can't. So that trip alone was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was like, at 30 years old, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to experience life anymore from a chair. I don't want to experience life and the things that I find may be enjoyable to me and be limited or told no, or that or I have to consider a weight limit. Because those were the things that ran through my mind before I said yes to anything. Is there a weight limit? Is there some type of limitation? Can I do it? Can I physically, endure this experience? And just that right there is what I did not ever want to have to deal with anymore. That was painful enough. To the fact that I had to answer or ask myself, can I enjoy life? Can I enjoy life?
So would you say that was,
or am I going to sit back and watch? Say that again?
I said, so would you say that was your breakthrough moment?
That was my breakthrough moment. That was where I said, no more. So when I got back to California, I immediately decided, because I had already tried everything. I mean, I've done full liquid diets. I've done exercise alone. I've done eating, just vegetables, starving myself. I've done it all. And I said, you know what? Weight loss surgery is where it's going to be. That's what I'm going to do. I signed up. I went through a 12-week program. Through this program, they absolutely do not equip you for what may happen. They go into talking and glorifying, how you're going to come out A-okay. They give you the stats, You know what I'm saying? About what could possibly happen. But the amount of time that they spend in that area is so brief that you have no choice but to believe that you'll make it through and you won't be the exception. I was the exception. And I'm going to tell you what that experience was. I had the surgery. I made it off the table, obviously, and so in that sense, it was a successful surgery. But nothing could have prepared me for what I was actually about to go through for the very first year. I was not prepared. One, they don't prepare you enough or tell you enough or stress enough that you have to be mentally prepared for an entire life change. Where you think that you can sit and eat an entire meal that you're used to seeing your entire life, is that no longer can happen anymore. And I wasn't prepared for that. They tell you that, but they don't prepare you for it. And so within the first 3 days, I was back in ER. I had extreme pain to the point where I could barely walk. My cousin had to walk with me, literally like almost carry me to the car because I could do only a shuffle walk. My body had rejected all the pain medication that they had given me, and I literally began to experience and feel all the pain that took place during that surgery throughout my body. And I had to endure that pain until I got to the hospital, which was 3 days later. So I was back in ER. They gave me the correct amount, which was crazy because they sent me home on Dilaudid. I don't even know if you guys know what that is, but it's an extremely strong pain medication that they give to pregnant women so that they can't feel birth. So they sent me home on that, and they don't do that, just so you know. So anyway, fast forward to about 4 months, I could barely keep anything down. I developed this symptom called the spits. I know that sounds really gross, but all the mucous membranes in my stomach began to erupt, and I couldn't keep anything down. It was just massive amounts of mucus, and to the point where like I wouldn't eat in front of people. I wouldn't. I would hide it because so much would come up that I would have to like shy away from eating around people, and because it was gross. Fast forward to about 10 months, I began to lose my hair. I had only managed to lose about 50 pounds. It took me literally 10 months to just lose 50 pounds. So my weight loss was extremely slow. I was going to my checkups. I was doing what the doctors were telling me. This is after surgery. This is post-op. Yes. And, I began to lose my hair. My skin began to be like very frail and pale and scaly. Like, it just looked like I was really sick, and I would hide it. I would still try to go out and have fun and do these things, but I would get really dizzy and didn't understand why. But really what it was that my body, because I was vomiting so much and I developed these complications and stuff, that I was just eating smaller foods that I've been eating, not high nutritious foods, not things high in protein, just regular foods that I had been eating. That the internet is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thumbs up if you can hear me.
It's a little
cool.
Shaky, but it's
so okay. So I began to develop these blackout spells where I would a lot of energy or a lot of exertion, I would black out and I couldn't do it. To the point where, like, if I sat up too quickly out of the bed in the morning, I had to sit on the side of my bed for at least 30 minutes before I could just stand up and walk because I was so dizzy. And I would get almost like, I don't know if you guys have heard of vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
Where you would kind of like black out. So it was like that. But anyway, I couldn't do normal things like take a shower by myself. Somebody had to sit in there and watch me. And I just, started to see all of these things that we do independently start to slip away from me. And I would lose independence in a lot of things where I needed people to help me with. The scariest thing, and I'm not proud to even admit this, but I would even go to work and have to drive. I was a commercial driver as well as a nurse working in a hospital. I would be dizzy, but I needed to work. So I wouldn't say anything. And I would have these, dizzy spells and blackout spells. And my coworkers would just kind of like, like, girl, are you okay? But I didn't want to say anything because I needed to work. So I would put myself and other people at risk by getting out there on the road and be having all of these issues going on. So it was really dangerous and really scary going through all of this. So anyway, I went back to my surgeon for like around 10, 11 months. And I told him like, what is going on? I'm having these issues and, I'm not really losing any weight. And would you believe it? He literally looked me in my face and said, well, I guess you got to work for it now. That was a blow. I was not ready for it. Because at that point in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, you just literally cut my stomach out and I got to work for it. Like, what does that mean?
Right.
So fast forward to I went through a spell of like depression. I didn't want to do anything. And it got to the point where I blacked out this last time at work, and my coworker, Anya, see this message, like, shout out to you, girl. Thank you so much for reminding me about Herbalife. Because it was because of her, where she pulled me to the side. She's like, sweetheart, this is, like, have you ever heard of Herbalife? Like, have you ever tried Herbalife? Right. When I tell you guys, it was literally like a light bulb that just went off. Because like I said, I had tried it years ago. I still had my membership. I just, it didn't click. I didn't think of it. And she was like, you heard of that, right? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yes. Immediately that night, because I knew how high the nutrition is in our healthy meal. And I knew how quickly I lost weight the first time I tried it. And I remembered how good I felt, when I was on those products. So of course, it was a no-brainer for me at that point when she said it. I immediately that night ordered my entire program. Within 3 days, you guys, I did not pass out. I was passing out every day, and within 3 days, I did not pass out. Now, let me just put a disclaimer out there because Herbalife does not claim to cure, treat diseases, anything like that, okay? That's not what we do. But let me tell you about the nutrition. When you put high-quality nutrition in your body,
yes.
Yes. Your body responds to good things. Your body responds to excellent fuel. Yes. This is what happens. This is the magic that happens in taking care of yourself and putting in what your body needs. It's literally like a car. You put trash gas in your car is going to move like trash. It's going to operate slower than its potential. But when you put in amazing fuel, you can go like the distance, right? Correct. Like your car rides better. It drives better. You know what I mean? You can definitely feel the difference when you put that bomb Chevron in your gas tank versus, maybe I don't want to bust out no like low budget gas stations, but y'all know what I mean, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I'm a living proof to that. I began to use my products. I got on within 3 days. No lie. I did not pass out. And that, for me, whether I lost another pound after that, honestly, I wasn't that moved if I didn't lose weight anymore after that. I just didn't want to die. My friend, what she really said to me was, you look like you're not going to make it to the end of the year. Wow. That's what she said to me. Wow. And what's crazy is that
because a lot of people think, and I always tell my clients, like, it's about how you feel. Be very present in how you feel. And so when you get on, it may not be that you lose your first 5 pounds in your first week, but I always ask, how do you feel? Because for me, when I started, the pounds didn't just come out right away. It was more about how I felt. I didn't need to take my 2 o'clock nap anymore. I didn't need to go sneak off and try to, take a nap here and there. And I was the queen of napping. I loved to nap in the middle of the day. And then I would feel like crap after I took a nap. And that is so important. It's about how you feel inside. Because you have to work on that first. If you don't even have the energy to get through the day, it starts there. That's a result. And that's usually the first result I tell my clients to pay attention to. It's all about how you feel. And people say, all these Herbalife people, they got high energy, they say that, and it's true, we do. Our energy is everything, and it's not a show or anything. I remember
our energy is taking to the room.
I brought a client to the club, and they were like, "What are y'all on? It is something in them shakes."
Okay,
it's the energy. You feel good, and you look even good. I think they said it the best when we went to when we had the STS, and he was like, "You mean?" I gotta look good, and I can look good and feel good, and you gonna pay me for it? What other company is gonna do that, And I think it is true.
Right.
Kind of like, almost like it's too easy, So you mean I get to work on me, and I can help other people do it, and that's, my way of life? Like, I'm cool with that. And so I think that is a very important. It's with recognizing how you feel. And so sometimes I know, especially the weight loss or even weight gain, it is so difficult to you plateau. And I hear people get frustrated with that all the time. Like, you'll have a week where you're constantly like, oh, I'm down 10 pounds, or I'm down 5 pounds. And then you hit a plateau, and then they're frustrated with the process. It's like, but it's internal. How do you feel on the inside is what really counts, is what's really going to keep you going. But yeah, I just really wanted to point out that, really crucial fact. I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going, girl. I'm getting excited.
No, absolutely. Girl, that's awesome. Like, and that is so on point, because that's exactly where I was. I had already gone through so much, and I'm just like, you know what? All right, Lord, if I'm supposed to be fat, if I'm supposed to be at this size, if this is where it stops for me, okay, but just don't let me live through life unhappy. Don't let me live through life and continue to keep experiencing feeling like I'm ready to check out, because that's the point that I was at. I was ready to check out. And like I said, when my friend said that to me, she didn't know that was already rolling through my head. Was, I'm not going to make it to the end of the year. I don't feel good. This don't feel right. And so that's why I say, like, within those first 3 days of noticing, that was the biggest thing for me, was I noticed that, oh my God, I could stand up and I don't feel like I'm about to fall. I don't feel like I'm about to black out. Oh my God, I could walk out. I could drive my car and the lines aren't going, aren't weighing on the road. I don't feel like I'm, I got to shift or pull over and drink some water or, buy the granola bar or something to get my energy up in order to make it to work. I was literally noticing everything that I was feeling for those first 3 days. So fast forward to 2.5 months. Oh, let me back it up just a little bit, because when I got on the products, she also introduced me to a nutrition club. I had never been to a nutrition club before in my life. I had no clue what that was. I didn't even know that they worked out. She just said, come to the nutrition club with me. I just so happened to have on workout clothes, and they invited me to work out with them. I said, okay. Now I'm going to be completely honest. I was pissed to high hell. I was so mad when I first worked out at an Herbalife workout. I said, hold on, people don't do this. I'm not about this life. I'm going to die in this workout. It's not happening. Like, I was so mad. And they asked me, they're like, oh, would you come back? And this, and I'm like, no, I'm never coming back. You guys try to kill me. Like, this is not happening ever again. Ever. And I was so serious. But and they didn't even know how to respond. Like, they literally looked at me like, we ain't never had nobody come in here and just said, like, nah, we ain't coming anymore. So they didn't even know how to respond to me. They were just like, oh, okay, thanks for coming. It was so awkward. But I walked out of there. I got in my car and I sat there and I could not move from in front of that nutrition club for about an hour. I just wept. I cried. And the reason why is because I heard the voice of the Lord. I don't know if you guys are believers, but for me, some people say universe, some people say whatever, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but to me, my Lord spoke to me, and he said, you asked me for life. You asked me to give you something that is going to help you get to the place that you want to get to. Trust me. And I broke at that point. I couldn't. How can you argue that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you pray and you pray and you pray. You ask for these things. You throw these prayers up in the air and you ask for help. You do, you know what I'm saying? You reach out and here it is. The Lord was saying, here is your help. Here is your help. This is where I'm taking you. And at that point, I was at the point where I'm like, I just want to live. So whatever you want, Lord, okay. If I got to come back to this godforsaken workout, then that's what I'm gonna do. Like, just don't let me die in the process, because it was intense. And so I'm so grateful that I was obedient and I just continued to go. Fast forward, you guys, to two and a half months later, I was down 42 pounds in my first 2.5 months. 42 pounds in 2.5 months.
And it took you how many months to lose post-op 10 pounds? Or you said 50?
It took me 10 months to lose 50 pounds post-op.
Wow.
With just the surgery alone. It took me 10 months to lose 50 pounds. Yes, it was very slow.
That's powerful.
And so, yes, oh my gosh. Yes. So fast forward to today, because I've been completely consistent. Thank you.
Yes.
Fast forward to today, I'm now down over 150 pounds.
Wow.
So a lot of weight gone now. Yes, girl. I'm so excited by that. And the biggest thing for me is I get to help people. I'm so grateful. Like, at the time, I didn't know that I was going through that for so many people. But I'm grateful now that I was able to go through that and I was just obedient and I stuck to it regardless of what I was going through, because, oh my God, every day I wanted to quit. I'm not even playing. Every day. There was not a day that went by for those first 2.5 months that I wanted to say, I'm done, yo. Like, this is hard. Because it was hard.
Right.
But I'm grateful that it was hard.
Right. And it's those...
I'm grateful that it was hard because
it's not always the easiest thing to do.
Really am. And I never believed that.
Right. And it's not
never. It's never easy.
But it's one of those things where you really do have to just lock down and have that consistency. And something like that where it's life-changing. And this is why I say sharing the power of stories. The power of stories. I couldn't relay that message. I can't relate to that. And the fact that here you are and you have this to share, do you know how impactful this is to so many people that need to hear that needs a breakthrough, that needs that moment? Like that's so powerful. That is so powerful. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so thankful that you even were so willing to even just share this. And I just want to ask you, like, how is it now for you? Like, looking at that with that experience behind your belt, how does that help you now, knowing that you did the surgery, you did the liquid diets, you did everything out there and it did not work? And so here you are, 150 pounds down, like, and you look absolutely amazing. You look absolutely beautiful. I don't know where 150 was sitting, you know, like, it's just, it's so like,
I wish that I could screen share. I don't even have a picture of me on this computer. Otherwise, I would screen share so you guys can see how I look. Maybe I could like flash it to the phone. I don't know.
Send me your before and after photos. I'm gonna put it with the link to the video so you can see. So I can share that too with everybody else that's on the call as well. But I want to know, like, how is that now for you?
Oh, definitely.
You know, being
so
a coaching position.
From a coach's position?
Mm-hmm. And then having...
Is that what you said?
Yeah, and having that experience under your belt to be able to share, is that something that... How do you feel with that? Like, is that something that you offer? I know a lot of people, this is a very sensitive topic for people who don't, want to bring that up. And so I'm just being, very blunt. Like, how does that feel having that? Like, are you open to share that? What is that like for you?
So I'm trying to understand what you're asking me because it's like so choppy on my end.
Oh.
So you're asking me to explain how it is from a coach's standpoint when I come to people who are obese.
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. How does that story, your story, impact you as a coach? Like, how is that? Everybody has a story. We have our whys. Basically, I'm asking, what was yours?
So now my why is, at first my why was me. Like I wasn't thinking about anyone else. But now it shifted because when I see people who are overweight, I know that in that condition, in that state, they can't see past that. And so a part of me, I'm going to be honest, a part of me is scared to approach them because they see the after me now. They don't see where I came from.
Right.
And if I don't have a picture to show, or I don't have, basically, if I don't have a picture to show them, hey, this was me, then it's hard to capture their attention. It's hard to capture their ears. So it's difficult actually as a coach to still speak, to people who are obese or because they don't believe you. And when you're in that space, like I was that person, like you could not come to me and say anything to me about being big. If I'm looking at you and you don't even look like you ever walked in my shoes, I don't want to hear, I don't have ears for you. And so I totally understand that when I get clients who, who are big or, or they're looking for something just to even lose weight. Even some people who just have to lose like 20 pounds. Let me not say just because 20 pounds is a lot, but to them, like that's a smaller weight, like it's not that big. To me, but to them, that's a lot, so I don't want to take that away, but it's still difficult, to have that conversation because one, like you're making someone look at themselves and be honest about themselves. So what I try to do is just be as open as possible. And I share the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. I have one-on-one conversations. I don't have open conversations with bigger people because I want to dig into those areas that you don't want to talk about. And that's how I coach. Like, I'm going to dig into why now, why this, what have you done before to try it? And what are you going through that's making you decide today? Because if you give me a surface answer, like, I just want to lose a few pounds, when clearly, like, I'm going to be real raw. Like, this is exactly how I am. Clearly, you need to lose over 50, 60, 70 pounds, and you tell me I just want to lose about 15, 20 pounds. I'm going to question you. Because I want to know, how real are we being with ourselves? Are we caring about our health? Or is this a short-term goal that you're trying to get for an event or something? Are you really thinking about your health? Because the place that I speak from is your health. What's going to give you longevity, and how much information can I give you that you could walk away with and maintain for the rest of your life? So you don't get back into that devastated place.
I tell my clients, like, the nutrition is one thing and the fitness is one thing, but I am trying to set you up for a lifestyle of success.
Yeah.
Diets, be honest, to me, diets don't work. Because you will, just like you said, you'll do it for an event. You got the family reunion coming up, you got the class reunion, the 10-year, whatever. So you want to lose a few pounds here and there. And I feel like people set that goal for them because they feel like they can't attain something greater. And that's where I challenge them. Okay, dig deeper. Are you only saying 10 pounds, 15 pounds because you think that's all that you can do? Well, then let's talk about something else, And I think that's really important to recognize because it's a lifestyle change. It's not just the losing the weight. It's when I walk away, I know my job is done as a coach. Is when I walk away from you, you can still maintain what you have done thus far. You can still maintain your results. You can still maintain, and that's the hard part. You can lose the weight, but maintaining is going to be another thing. So if I leave, if something happened, are you able to be on your own? And two, are you able to tell someone else how you got there? Are you able to share with someone else how you got the results that you got? And that's the most important that I want to leave my clients with. How do you maintain that lifestyle? And so it is about, it's important to lose the weight, and that's definitely a milestone, but that to me is showing me that you can do it. And I always try to instill that with my clients. You can do much more. Right. I set small goals, of course, but long term, if you know that you want to lose more than 50, let's go there. When they say dream scared, if your dreams scare you, then you did it. Go after that. Go after the dream that scares you. So I think that's I just wanted to make that point. It's definitely about the maintaining and the lifestyle changes. So I feel like when people get these surgeries and stuff, they want to be able to just lose the weight. But there's still something deep rooted in there that is not coming out. It's like, how are you going to maintain it? Because and please correct me if I'm wrong, if you were there before, it's a lifestyle that you've accumulated over so many years that has maintained you there. And so when you cross over and you go from, and you lose 150 just off of a surgery, how are you going to maintain that? You have to be prepared, like you said, to make that lifestyle adjustment. And for me, the reason why I think, and I keep saying that the stories are so impactful, is because for me, I have a lot of clients who are on a weight loss program. And for, me, I've never been obese. I've never been big. It's hard for me to relate, but I understand because I hear the stories. But I did hear one time, she was like, okay, well, what do you have to offer me? You've never had to worry about losing 50, 60 pounds. What can you tell me about that? And I think there's some truth to that. And so some people want to be able to hear from who they can relate to. And that's why I think I'm, bringing you in, hearing your story is so impactful because I can't. And there are certain aspects in which I can. And so I think it's just so powerful to be able to blend and really be a community. And that's something I appreciate so much with Herbalife. It gives me that. Yes. I have a passion to help people, but Herbalife gives me the platform to help others. It gives me the resource to bring you in and to help my family and to help my cousin and to help my aunt. It brings that in for me. And that's something that I absolutely appreciate, is that resource, that community, because we really are here for another. Like I've just met you, but I think you are freaking awesome. I feel like
so are you. And I was just about to say, I think that's you have the biggest heart when you could set aside your feelings, your judgments, your perception of what somebody else is going through, and just empathize with where they're at to the best of your ability, and then go out and look for something that will connect to them. To me, girl, I would love to have you as a coach. That is awesome. That's awesome. And that's what everyone needs. They need. I would say one of the biggest reasons why I can stay so committed is because of this community that we have here in Herbalife. It's because of the stories. It's because of the people. It's because of the connections that I get to make. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And I'm going to be all the way 100. Most of my clients, most of them haven't been morbidly obese, have not been in the, I don't have this big old wide client base or team of people behind me that have gone through what I've gone through. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I have a lot of people that I connect with within this business who have people that relate to me.
Exactly. And that's such a diverse platform and a community that it really affords you. And you can, for me, when I came in, I lost 20 pounds. I lost 20 pounds and I got the energy out.
Yeah, girl, that's bomb.
And so I got my results. I could have left, learned how to maintain and just left. But the fact that I feel like I have a duty now, and I say this because my best friend, I consider her my sister when I was in college. She passed away. She passed away from appendicitis, and we in college, we don't live the healthiest lifestyle. I'm gonna be honest. And during that time that she got sick, I wasn't there. And I felt like had I had something like this to offer her, a lifestyle change, and a community that would help and support her. I'm not saying that it cures anything, but I know for a fact, because I've experienced it, that it does a whole lot to your health with just the energy itself.
Right.
And after that, I'm like, you know what? I don't know for sure, but this I feel like could have saved my best friend. And other people have stories like that. And for that reason, I feel like I have a duty now. I have a duty to my people, to my family, to the people that I come across, people who I don't even know, to share these stories and to share this opportunity with people. And so that's what makes it hard for me to walk away. And that's why I will not walk away. Because I feel like now I have a duty. If I give up, then I'm letting down everybody that I tried to bring on. Every life that I tried to impact, I've just let them down, And so once you get involved like that, it makes it harder to walk away because you have many people counting on you.
It's so much better and easier to hold for other people. Yeah. Definitely. You don't want to watch anybody, leave, fail, fall, none of that. So, like that's what we do. That's what we get to do as coaches. I love that. And as a community, I just want to can we open up the lines for everyone to kind of engage and talk with us? You guys, do you have any questions? I hope this has inspired you or at least have given you much more insight into what bariatric life.
So I am unmuting the lines.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So everyone's unmuted.
Okay, perfect.
So we can open it up for Q&A. I also know that we have someone online who's also had a similar experience. And I wanted to know if she had anything that she wanted to add of value to our conversation.
Perfect.
Not to put you on the spot, sorry.
Hi, that's okay. Hi, my name is Janine. For those who have not got a chance to meet me, Janine Virgin. I've been in the community now for about 3 years almost, and I have a similar story. Thank you for Renata for sharing your story. I felt every word that you said. I had the gastric sleeve, now 7 years out. I was on the top of the world after I got my major results in the first year. I had lost 130 pounds, and I could not feel any better in my life. I was probably at my smallest that I've ever been. I started out, I was at a size 24 pants. That was the last pant size that I went to buy because there was a hole in the middle of the pants that I needed to buy. So I got down to one of my smallest sizes. I was about a size 2. By the time I put in a year's work. Yeah.
Wow.
Talk about that work that you still need to do, that maintenance. There's a lot of maintenance that needs to happen in that small amount of time, seemingly a year versus all the other years that I had put in for the weight. So I do identify with those bad habits that can creep back in, and being around a community that will help support you. And really truly plugging in back to any community that you feel like is necessary. So that was for me kind of what drew. My husband started at Herbalife. He started going to fit camps, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to come?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm cool." And then one day I showed up, and I showed up again, and I showed up again. So that community is very strong. That especially I heard you talk about Renata. So I'm glad that you were able to get around a community so you could keep going, and you didn't say no. You said not right now, but you went back in there. I can understand the tears. Every word you said, I related to it. Many days I went to the gym, and I'm like, I'm not going in there. But I said I was at the gym, but I sat there for an hour.
Exactly. It's literally, you literally have to be a yes. I know we say that a lot in the community of Herbalife, like, oh, thank you for your yes, and being a yes, and continue to keep being a yes. you have to be your yes every single day, and you have to make that decision every single day. And I'll just say, as a coach, like, holding for yourself and other people, you got to be like a double yes.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, right. I went from not doing any of those workouts. I mean, I knew I could train, and I was like, I don't need it anymore. I'm good.
Right.
And kind of what threw me off track was I got hurt at work, and I couldn't exercise. I couldn't do anything. And so I gained some of the weight back, and that was scary to me. Like, that was the most frightening thing ever. And I'm like, I can't get back there. I can't. So I did do the shakes, even though I was a little skeptical because I had done shakes for 4 months straight. I had absolutely no food, not one morsel of food for 4 whole months. And I'm all like, I can't go back there. So it was a mental thing, to where you were talking about not being mentally prepared for this. No one is mentally prepared to still have to cook meals for your family and you not eat any of it. Or talk about, I lost the taste for a lot of different foods. Like, I was the biggest chicken eater. I cannot stand chicken now. I hate chicken.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even want to touch it. I don't want to look at it.
So wait, let me tell you this real quick. When I first had the surgery, when I went, you know how they kind of like, they graduate you in a step, like your first 2 months or whatever, you graduate, you get to have puree food. So you're like, ooh, yay, baby food. And then in the next month, they're like, oh, yay, now you can have soft solids, right? So when I graduated to solid foods, the first thing they told me to eat was chicken. I was repulsed. I could not eat chicken at all. It was literally like I smelled the animal, like I smelled the flesh. Because what happens is with this surgery is your taste buds change. It's like your senses disconnect, like your taste buds to your brain, like what you think it's supposed to taste like totally like goes into whack. So what you think is supposed to taste the way it did prior to the surgery, it no longer tastes like that nor smells like that to you anymore. And chicken, in the beginning, I'm okay with chicken now, but in the beginning, chicken literally smelled like how it's like I thought I was eating like fresh dead meat, uncooked meat. It was weird. Like, I could not do it. So that's really crazy. I've never heard anybody else that has had this surgery say that about chicken. So that's why I'm like, oh my God, I finally met somebody that understands me.
I still don't touch it. I don't eat it. So, those things that, like you said, why aren't people having these discussions? And not to deviate anybody from this plan, because it did initiated a huge difference from my personality, from my confidence, from my health. Like, I was pre-diabetic, I was high blood pressure, my joints hurt, back hurt, sciatica, you name it, I think I had it, off that list. And I was like, I'm too young to have all these ailments. And I wanted to give the gift of myself back to me, not to anyone else. I had a family, but I owed myself to give that to me. Like, if that equated to more years, let me give myself more years. If I can slow down the aging progression, then that was the gift to myself to then give to other people. So now, as a coach, I can relate to that person. Pictures of me when my head is. And I do show people, and I share it. Because I don't want people to misconstrue that I did Herbalife, but I had a jump start. So exactly. I have my before pictures and for my weight loss, and then I have my current pictures now, to where I'm always, it's like it's t-shirt season now. I'm always showing off my results, and because I'm over 40. So that's the thing now. It's like, okay, I'm gonna show other women and what it looks like to get to this age and share it and love it. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Your testimony is going to help a lot of people, because there's good and there's a bad and there's an ugly.
Yep.
And before you get to the point where then you can step out and feel very confident about your results, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So thank you, Renata, for sharing your story. And thank you for letting me share my story at this time in this space. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I
Thank
just
you.
related to this. So you gave me a little bit of piece of something that I thought I was the only person that dealt with. So
And I want to be clear too, like my intention in this is not to deter anyone who was considering getting the surgery. That was not my intention, to scare the, excuse my language, scare shit out of you for you not to do it if that's what you are considering. But I do believe in transparency, and I do believe in providing people with all the resources necessary before you make that type of decision. And although I don't have the knowledge about it, that's why I'm connecting with people who do have the knowledge. That's why I'm connecting with people who can share their experiences. And I'm not looking for anybody to share like a scary experience for deter people, but I think that it is so important to have a transparency and the resources you need possible to make a decision like that. And I know when you go into stuff like that, they might not tell you everything. Medication have the side effects on it. It does not tell you everything. And so I'm glad that I am linked to a community that can offer that resource, offer that space for people. And I appreciate both of you for being willing and able to share your stories. And because it's a sensitive topic to talk about. People think about it, but they don't want to talk about it. And a lot of people are afraid to ask. So I want to be a monarch for the people who are afraid to ask. I will ask for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's important. We have to be representative for our client, because I know I would ask. I would want to ask. And sometimes I was afraid to ask, And so I feel like we have to be in the forefront for our clients. We have to be the representative until they get there. And I know one of the things is like what we say a lot in the community is that, hey, even if you don't believe in yourself, believe your coach's vision for you. If I'm investing so much in you, it's because I see something for you, something better for you, even when you don't see it yourself. So at that point, borrow your coach's eyes, borrow your coach's vision for you, because it means that they see it for you, and you may not have it for yourself, but tap into the community, tap into the event, tap into just the resources that are here and provided for you. And I'm always willing to try to connect people to them, to link these resources, because I know I don't have it all, and I would be a fool to sit here and to think that I did. And so that's why I appreciate bringing everybody in. And Renata, thank you so much. Like, I know that it's not the easiest thing to talk about, and I'm glad that you were so willing to talk about your experiences, as well as you, Janine, to women or people who are experiencing, these doubts, or even if they're not related to the surgery, but just major weight loss milestones. And to be able to know, like, you can lose 150 pounds. People do it. It's not just a 1 out of 100 possibility of doing it. It is possible for you if you make that commitment and you be a yes. And I'm here to tell you, there's so many people in this community. Once you say that yes, I will do whatever it takes, I promise, to get to where you need to be. Just have faith in me, have faith in the process, have faith in this community. We're going to help you. And so I did open the lines. I don't know if anybody else have any more questions.
Can I just piggyback off of something you said? And I'll just give you an example. Because I just had, so actually my cousin who took care of me when I first had surgery came to me in April. And I just shared this on my team call, because we had a breakthrough yesterday in her progress. But she came to me in April and she wanted to have weight loss surgery also. And I told her, I will support you. I will stand behind you, because I know a lot of success stories too. So I just want to throw that out there, you guys, just to piggyback on what she said. Like, this is not about discouraging you, because I know a lot of success stories behind this surgery as well. You know what I'm saying? I was the other heart. I was the other end that nobody talks about. I was the other side. Okay. And that was the only reason why, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about this, because we don't talk about this. So anyway, so my cousin came to me and I said, she's like, I'm done. Like, I think I'm ready to do this surgery too. Will you support me? And I said, I will support you if you give me 30 days first. So when you said borrow your coach's eyes, borrow your coach's eyes. If you don't believe, give them a shot. Give them 30 days. Be coachable and just go all in and see what could happen. Yes. Because you may not be in that place right then and there to believe, but we see, we know the outcome. We know the other end of the story. We know the possibility. And so just to reiterate, she came to me. She said, this is what I want to do. I said, I will support you fully 100%. I'll be right there with you every step of the way, but give me 30 days first. Let's try Herbalife first. She gave me those 30 days, you guys. She has been every single week. She weighs in with me every single Monday. She has been consistent. It is now, what are we in? October.
October
She
2nd.
started with me in April. She was 362 pounds. As of yesterday, she is down to 298 pounds.
Wow.
Hey! Wow!
And she no longer wants to have this surgery.
Yes!
Okay, so
Oh, wow.
magic. Like this is and just reaching out and letting them see and painting that possibility for them. Because when you have somebody advocating for you, when you have somebody standing there with you and running with you, things happen. Especially when you got great nutrition on the end.
Yes.
I mean, on your hand. So
It's the number
let me tell you.
one.
And she's not afraid. She's not afraid to try new things now. She has adopted the whole, meal prep culture. I mean, literally changed her entire life. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to share my story, and just be really open and authentic. Please don't hesitate to ever reach out to me. I will do this again as many times as you need to. So yes, thank you.
Is there any last minute questions before we end this call? Anybody? I'm gonna do an unmute one more time. Nope. Okay. Well, Renata, I thank you so much for your time.
No problem. My pleasure.
That's incredible. And I'm so glad that I have that resource to just pull you in because, maybe it was for not one on the call, but I just like having that resource because I know I already have a one mic I'm going to take this over. And by all means, if any of you want a copy of this video that it might help anyone, let me know. I'm going to download it and feel free to share. I am going to need your before and after because I'm definitely posting it with this link.
Absolutely.
Your amazing results. And with that,
I'll send it right now, right when we get off this call.
Okay. Did you have a question? No. No? Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys all for joining the call too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.